So lesson 7.3, the law of cosines. This one will be way shorter than the previous one because we've covered most of the things we need to know or how we do things. So I'll just start the formulas, then we'll solve a few triangles, and that's mostly it. So in this lesson, when we're solving the triangles, we're gonna need to use a combination of both the law of cosines and the law of sines. So let's start by writing the law of cosines. So the law of cosines can be written in three ways. It depends on which side you're trying to find. So we'll start by the first side. We're assuming that the three sides of the triangle are A, B, and C. So when we're finding A, it's A squared equal to the other two sides, which is B squared plus C squared minus 2BC cosine A. And if we're finding B, it's B squared equal to the other two sides. So A squared plus C squared minus 2AC cosine B. So the cosine is usually the angle we're trying to find the side of. Then the AC are the two sides here. So C squared will be the other two sides. So it's B squared and A squared. I'll write it in order. So A squared plus B squared minus 2AB cosine C. There's also in the book an alternative form, but you only really need to know these ones. You can solve without the alternative form. The alternative form just makes your life easy. Okay, let's solve our first example. So here they're asking us to find or solve the triangle. So we have three sides, so we can use these laws here, the cosine laws. So we can use any of the three, it doesn't really matter. We have to find one of these here. So I'll use the one for this one here. So let's assume, or let's label them first. So we have A, we have B, we have C, then this is A, this is B, this is C. So I want to find C, angle C, which is this one here. So I want to use this one. So C squared, which is the side squared, so 17 squared equal to 12 squared plus 16 squared minus 2 times 12 times 16. Oh, I don't have, okay, I'll just move it first. Times cosine of C. You can just write this on the calculator and shift solve, or you can use the alternative form. So 17 squared equal to 12 squared plus 16 squared minus 2 times 12 times 16 times cosine C. So shift solve. So here I got cosine, or here I got C is equal to 286.8. So since we used shift solve, we got like one of the answers for angle C, but we know that the triangle can only have an angle of 180. So here we can just shift cosine, or shift tan of the answer, so 286.8, and then take the positive value, so C is equal to 73.2. So this will be 73.2. Some of you can just get 73.2 instantly from the calculator, and that's also fine. So from here we can either use cosine law again, or we can use the sine law. I personally think that using the sine law is easier or faster, so we'll use the sine law from here and on. So we'll put this to the side and then start using the sine law. So sine of 73.2 over 17 equal to, we can choose either. So I'll choose the B here. So sine B, actually I'll write them both. Then sine A over 16. Then we can solve each one. So first we'll get B. So sine 73.2 over 17 equal to sine x over 12. So here I got B as 42.5. That's not a 42. 42.5. Then A, again on the calculator, 64.3. So this will be 64.3. This will be 42.5. Then we'll add them all to make sure it equals 180. It should be close to 180 since we rounded most of our answers. Ah, it's exactly 180. Okay. So that's the first triangle. Okay, on to our next triangle. So here it might look like we need or we can use sine law, but we really cannot. We're missing one angle or one side from each part of the triangle. So we'll have to use cosine law. So again, I'll find this side. So let's label them. I'll make this C, C, this is C, then this is A, this is A, this is B, and this is B. So we want to find small c, so c squared, or we can just do c equal to radical the whole thing. Instead of writing this like this, we can radical this side and radical this side. So that's what I will do. So radical a squared, so 400 squared plus 300 squared minus 2 times 300 times 400 cosine the angle opposite to it, so 147. Then you do this on the calculator. So 671.77. So this will be, let me remove C. So 671.77. Now we can use sine law to solve the rest of the triangle. So sine 147 over 671.77 equal to sine, I'll do A first. So A over 400. So A will equal to sine 147 over 671.77 equals to sine of A over 400. So our angle will equal to 18.92. So this is 18.92. This angle should be smaller since this is 400 and this is 300. So let's solve the next one. So sine B over 300 . So angle B will equal to 40. So the smallest angle looks at the smallest side, and then the second smallest or second greatest angle looks at the second greater side. Then the greatest angle looks at the greater side. So that's our second triangle. Okay, let's solve one last triangle, but this time we'll solve the triangle and find the area of the triangle. So let's find the area first. So in the sine law video, we talked about the area of the triangle when we have three sides given, which was A is equal to radical S times S minus A times S minus B times S minus C. So S is the half parameter. So S is equal to 3.1 plus 1.8 plus 4.2 over 2. If you do this on a calculator, 3.1 plus 4.2 plus 1.8 over 2, it gives you 4.55. So A is equal to 4.55 times 4.55 minus 3.1 times 4.55 minus 1.8. I'll move it to the side. Times 4.55 minus 4.2. Then you do this on a calculator. And you get 2.51. So the area of this triangle is 2.519. Okay, let's find the angles of the triangle. So first we'll have to use the cosine law to get any of the three angles. Again, I'll use this angle here. So first I'll label them. So this is C, C, A, A, B, and B. So C squared is equal to A squared plus B squared minus 2AB cosine C. So here our capital C is missing. So 4.2 squared equal to 3.1 squared plus 1.8 squared minus 2 times 3.1 times 1.8 cosine C. So here we just shift solve on the calculator. So shift solve. So angle C is equal to 115.42 or around that. So 115.42. Now we can use the sine law. 0.42 degrees. So sine of 115.42 over 4.2 is equal to sine B over 1.8. So on the calculator, so sine 115.42 over 4.2 is equal to sine x or B over 1.8. So B will equal to 157.22. This is obviously not the right angle because if this is 4.2 and this angle is the greatest angle because the triangle is 180, this cannot be 157.2. So what you do is again shift tan 157.22, which will give you 22.78. You have to take the absolute value. So B is 22.78. Then you do 180 minus 22.78 minus 115.42. That will give you 41.8 degrees. And that's our triangle.